They've lost a lot of their money, but they haven't lost the fight. A group of local investors is getting some payback tonight. They're accusing a well-known real estate broker of walking away with millions of dollars of their money.
They reached out to us last year, and tonight there's been a significant development. Chief investigative reporter Tony Kovaleski is with us. And Tony, they say this is a long time in coming.
And clearly gratifying, Jess and Raj. When investors contacted the investigative unit, they wanted some sort of accountability for the millions they had lost. They filed complaints with the state, contacted law enforcement, and nothing happened. Nothing until now. Mr. Coyle? Tony Kovaleski with NBC Bay Area. Do you have a moment? He's the president of Telegraph Hill Properties. Your investors want to know where their money went. The state of California says you're no longer worthy of a license. His name and his company can be found on more than 20 civil lawsuits. His investors claim they are out more than $15 million. We've come to hear your side of the story. His name is W.B. Coyle, a well-known real estate broker in San Francisco's North Beach.
I've been through hell, 8 years of hell, because of W.B. Coyle.
And it's unbelievable that someone can just steal all my money, and who do I turn to? No one does anything. It's ridiculous.
They all invested in properties and condominiums with W.B. Coyle, believing it was a good business opportunity, a strong financial decision.
What Mr. Coyle had been doing was commingling massive amounts of money between various buildings.
Coyle shouldn't be allowed to practice real estate, and I hope he ends up in prison.
Take a close look. Following an arbitration hearing in Walnut Creek last year, W.B. Coyle first ran away from our cameras and then drove away from our questions. He's found a way to avoid any public accountability until now.
We accused, in this particular case, W.B. Coyle and his corporations of really the most egregious types of violations.
Following our reports and the state's lengthy investigation, the Bureau of Real Estate accused W.B. Coyle of corporations fraud, making misrepresentations on the investments, and dishonest dealing.
In our world, those are the big guns. Those are the things that are most severe.
W.B. Coyle was then scheduled to defend his actions, including explaining what happened to the millions investors accused him of taking. But before a scheduled hearing with the Bureau of Real Estate,
we entered into settlement talks with Mr. Coyle, and then he agreed to surrender all of his corporate license and license rights.
It's the Bureau's most serious penalty, and these public records provide confirmation. They show Telegraph Hill Properties' license was surrendered in connection with a disciplinary action. They include W.B. Coyle's signatures, agreeing that his real estate empire is now out of business. Tony Kovaleski from NBC Bay Area. Can you explain to us why you decided to surrender your license to the Bureau? After more than a year of declining our requests for interviews and avoiding our questions, we found W.B. Coyle on the streets of San Francisco. Do you want to explain to your investors if they're going to get their money back? Do you want to say anything, sir?
Sorry.
Mr. Coyle, don't your investors deserve some sort of answer? You've surrendered your license. They want to know why. Will you explain? W.B. Coyle's corporation, Telegraph Hill Properties, has lost its license for at least 2 years, although the state's lead investigator says it's likely to be much longer because before that license can be reinstated, Mr. Coyle must clear up all of his civil lawsuits and pay restitution to his victims. Now, this is interesting. The victims do have a potential to collect $250,000 from the Bureau of Real Estate's fund for victims of fraud. It's not the $15 million, but they say it's a start and they still have civil remedies.
You've been tracking the story for more than a year. You'll stay on it, I'm sure.
Accountability.
Okay, thank you, Tony.